Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of our Madden franchise with the Houston Texans. So, a little bit of an update. One thing I want to go over with y'all, we are 0-2 on the season, and these games really have not been close at all. So, I really don't want to change the sliders and all that. Eventually, I think, depending on what we find coming out from people that go through the extensive testing to see which sliders are the best, I might end up making an adjustment. Hate to admit it. I did also come across thinking about moving the difficulty level to All Pro. Now, I tested that out last night in some exhibition games. Okay. And just so y'all can see, no, I did not try it on this game. Remember, I had to send the first one again because I lost the file. But I did test it out on a couple exhibition games, seeing the difference between All Pro and All Madden. And I can tell you the difference is quite extensive. First of all, in All Pro, your guys on defense, I don't know if it's so much they react. I think the reaction time for your team on defense is so much greater than the reaction time for the computers, for the CPU's offense. And it's kind of vice versa, going the other way. Your offense reacts to things a whole lot quicker than the CPU-led defense. And really, when you play on All Madden, that role is kind of reversed, right? So, there's that rushing touchdown, I think, last week where our linebacker didn't even move. We're at the goal line. The dude had already crossed the goal line before our linebacker made a move on it. So it is kind of switched in that way. And I've been hesitant about changing. I'm not going to, because during the trials, I think, the one thing that kept coming across to me is I just have to play smarter. Defense, it's going to be dang near impossible with the guys that we have to have a decent sized season, especially against the passing. We are a 79 overall defense, and if you look, we have our starting safety is a 72 overall, and he's 28, so we're definitely going to need a safety, a strong safety. Justin Reed, he's an 84 overall, so he's good at free safety. He's got time to develop, and he's only going to get better. But cornerback, our top cornerback is an 81 overall. We're going to have to do a lot better than that. And so we are going to be looking at possible trades. And also look at our linebackers. I mean, Merciless leads the pack with like an 81 overall. In the middle, Benardrick McKinney, 82 overall. And our left outside linebacker, Scarlett, is a 73 overall. So, and look at our defensive tackles. Our highest rated defensive tackle is a 70 overall. So we're going to definitely be making some changes. The first change that I'm going to look at, J.J. Watt. Alrighty, so he's 31. He's a 98 overall, and he does have an X factor. My issue with him is that he is old, and I hate to say it, but I think it's time to move on from him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add him to the trading block to see what kind of offers we can get. If nothing good comes from that, I might just try to individually try to trade him to another team to see if I can't get a first-round pick for him. I doubt that'll happen, but maybe we'll be able to pull that off and see what we can do. And then Kenny Stills. He's our number 3 receiver, but he is 81 overall. Or Will Fuller. You'll see here in a second, they are the two players that are ready to negotiate, and they are fairly expensive players for what we have with our cap room. So just to show you, and I'll show you all here in a second, but I'm going to put them both up on the trading block just to see what I can get back for them. It doesn't mean I'm going to actually end up trading them. I just want to see what comes back in my experience, nothing will probably come back for Stills because he's the third wide receiver that we have. Alright, so we added them to the trading block. And let me show you what I mean when I say they're expensive. Alright, so 2 players ready to negotiate. And it's both Fuller and Stills. And look at the contracts that they're asking for. 29.2 over $4 million. And just so y'all can see what we're working with, I'm not going to make an offer or anything right now. But we only have $30.3 million in cap space. That's all we have to work with. And that's if we sign him to this deal, obviously. But I think if we don't sign him, or if we end up trading him away, or we end up trading Stills, that's going to free up a lot of space come free agency, to where we can try to get a big name, defensive back, a cornerback. We can try to get a wide receiver, but possibly a defensive tackle or a defensive end to kind of help anchor our defensive line. So that's kind of my thinking coming into this. And if you look, Stills is 28, so he's a bit on the older side. He is an 81 overall, but I don't see him getting much better with having just regular development. Fuller's 26. He's got star development, so he's young. So he may be worth the expense, but we're going to have to see what we can get back in a trade for both of these guys. So that's kind of what we're looking at for that arena. Now, as far as scouting players, I'm just doing auto-generated rookies. I don't worry about bringing in real rosters. Plus, I don't think anybody has real rosters at this point, with as long as it takes to create those. So first things first, even though I'm aiming for one in free agency, I need to look for a defensive back. I am going to stick with a lot of these first-round guys. Hope someone falls to the third round, or if I can trade to get a second. Like I said, squeeze out a first-round pick. That would be amazing. But we will see. And right now, since there's no combine stats or anything like that for them, there's not a whole lot of point of going in depth for it. I just generally let me see where they fall. Zone coverage, catching, play recognition. Those are the kind of things I'll look for when it comes time to actually draft the guy. So that's kind of always been my theory on it. As long as they are within a draft round that's the same or better for the most part, I'll add them to my draft board. Some of these guys like Fleming and Hughes, they drop down to a round below their original prediction, which they were first rounders, but Fleming projected third and Hughes is a second round talent. So I am going to keep them on the draft board, because right now the only draft pick I have is I have the 13th pick in the third round, the second in the fourth, 13th in the fourth, 13th in the fifth. I got a lot of late round picks, but I got nothing early. So hopefully we'll see what can kind of fall down to us, but we will need to be looking at getting a cornerback. I'm hoping we can try to get an experienced guy in free agency, and so we'll kind of see what comes of that. So this week, once again, just so y'all can see, we are on the all Madden settings. Okay, we are sticking with all Madden, simulation, everything like that. I'm not changing it. Record be damned, really. I've given up 100 points in 2 games and only scored 38. And realistically, looking at how the Texans season is mapped out, your first 2 games are against, league MVP from 2 years ago, Super Bowl MVP from last season, Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes, and week 2 you face off against last year's MVP, Madden cover, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So it is a 41-3, 41 points by the Ravens and 59 points by the Chiefs. Really all that, out of the realm of possibility? No, it's definitely in the realm of possibility. So it's not something that's totally unrealistic. We just need to play better going forward. And so that's what we're going to do today. We are going to be taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field here at a 1 p.m. kickoff to start the Sunday afternoon of games. So let's get ready, everybody, and jump on to this emotional ride that is a Houston Texans franchise.
And here we go as we took the opening kickoff for a touchback and take over at the 25-yard line. And the first play of the game, we get a quick pass off to Stills, who is not only on our trading block now, but is also up for contract renegotiation and in competition with Fuller for today. And so that quick pass got us 4 yards, and we are now at a 2nd and 6 on our opening drive. And we get the ball handed off, and we get a little bit of running space going, and that will put us at a 3rd and inches. To go. First drive, we need to get some points. This way we can at least claim our first lead of the season coming in game number 3. And we take the quick little handoff, and we do. We get about 6-7 yards on that running play, giving us a 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. And we are moving. We need to keep this going to build up a lot more of that momentum. And so we are going to once again pass it on a first down, since we kind of had gotten to the habit of doing a little bit of running too much on first down. And we find Stills open again on the slant pattern for a big gain down the right field to the 42-yard line of Pittsburgh. And just in 4 plays, we are now on the opposite side of the field, getting some movement going. We are liking it. We are excited. And now we find ourselves in a 3rd and 9. And Watson rolls out to the left, and we get the first down, and we slide with him because we cannot afford to have Watson get injured. No matter how this season goes, we need Watson to remain healthy, and the best way to avoid him getting hurt is to make sure he doesn't take any hits. And that gives us a 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. And we are in the shotgun formation. This new spread offense that we have, we got people going. We hit Fuller on the out pattern quickly for a first down, but there is a flag, and it is going to be holding, and that will essentially halt our drive. We do not do much more from there and end up having to kick a field goal from about 55 yards out. The wind meter was broken, but we did put all we had into it. And we do take our first lead of the season at 3-0. On the ensuing drive for Pittsburgh, we need to hold this lead. We need our defense to step up big. And Merciless gets off the edge, and we chase Rothlesburger down for the sack. First play on defense, first sack of the game for Merciless. And what a play that was, coming quickly off the edge. Looks like they are going to have some offensive line problems. Hopefully we can exploit that. And they dump it down on the 2nd and 23 to Connor, who gets a big gain for 20 yards, bringing up a 3rd and 3. Needing to try to make this stop. And we can maintain and then build our lead from here. And so we have them 3rd and 3, nobody in the backfield. We try to get some pressure with our line, and we are not able to, but we deflect the pass. We stop them. That brings up a 4th and 3. They are going to have to punt the ball away to us as we maintain our 3-0 lead in this game. This is one of the first 3-and-outs we've had all season. Once again, we're only 3 weeks into it, but for it to be the first 3-and-out, that's a pretty big deal for us with the way we played, giving up over 100 points, or really just right at 100 points in the first 2 games. And we fielded that punt, and we had some space open, but I wanted to try to get out on the edge. I just was not able to get out there with Kiki, and so we do take over. And a little bit later on in our drive, we have the ball at a 1st and 10 from our 47-yard line. And we roll out with Watson, and we're going to keep him going if we can get some blocking, but not too much. But we do get a few yards, bringing us to a 3rd and 7, even though Watson got hit out of bounds, and that probably should have been a 15-yard penalty. That's kind of become a theory or a theme that's happened whenever I run with Watson. Even if I get out of bounds, he's still getting tackled. So on the 2nd and 7, we hand the ball off and just not able to get that extra step we need to cut around the corner. And we are tackled for no gain there. All right, so we have ourselves now, once again, a 3rd and 7 from our own 49-yard line. Really, Pittsburgh 49 on their side of the field. And we get the ball off to Brandon Cooks, who's been old reliable for us for a big gain and a first down, all the way down to the Steelers' 30-yard line. And a little bit later in the drive, coming to the end of the first quarter, we are down to the 14-yard line in the red zone with the 1st and 10. And we take the snap and we throw it, just heave it as we got hit, and that one is going to be intercepted, and they start the run back. And Brandon Cooks ends up chasing him down from behind all the way up to the 44-yard line. What a mistake. That is the type of mistake we cannot be making. And Pittsburgh will take over with a chance to take the lead. So they hand it off, and we bounce off Connor one time, completely whiff on another one, and he's finally brought down at the Texans' 48-yard line. We need our defense to step up big here. That is something we have not done all season. Bringing it to a 2nd and 1, needing big plays to maintain this lead. And they're bringing somebody in motion, trying to test out what our defense is doing. And we get past them, and J.J. Watt with the tackle, but just barely, allowing him to get a first down. Now, a little bit later in the drive for Pittsburgh, we have him at a 3rd and 14. And we get around the edge, and we are going to bring him down. Rothlesburger is sacked for the big loss on 3rd and 14. Ejiofor, that's how you pronounce his name. And they will have to punt the ball away to us as we get a big play by our defense. And we take the ball over at the 8-yard line, have a quick little run for 2 yards, just trying to keep the defense honest. So on a 2nd and 8 from the 10, we're going to get our receivers moving. That is the key to the spread offense, is getting a lot of guys out into the lanes, because you know they can't cover all. And we drop off to Johnson, our running back, and he's going to take it down the sideline and tiptoes to where he gets tackled out of bounds at the 34-yard line. We are moving. That is a big play for a 1st and 10. And a little bit later on in the drive, we have ourselves a 2nd and 6 from the 28. We are on the Pittsburgh side of the field, and we are moving. And Watson finds Cooks open on the crossing pattern. He gets tackled at the 10-yard line, at the 8-yard line, bringing up a 1st and goal. That wasn't a cross. That was a little slant pattern that he was running all the way down to the 8. Cooks getting some big yards every time he touches the ball, making big plays for us. And here we are bringing our tight ends. We're going to try to hit him on that one. We roll out, but we weren't able to get the throw off. They dropped back in coverage perfectly, so we do just throw it out of bounds. The smarter play, which is, I think last drive we should have taken the sack, but we didn't. So this time we do the smart thing. And we're going to try to get the counter working, and Pittsburgh read that all the way as we are stuffed. And not really in the backfield, but for no gain. So we do have ourselves a 3rd and goal to go situation from the 8-yard line. This is big for us. We have a 3-0 lead with just over 8 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. And we take the snap. And we are running. And we're going to run it in. We're going to take it all the way in. Watson with the dive for the touchdown. And that will extend our lead on the big play by Deshaun Watson, our fearless leaders. He goes diving into the end zone, giving us a 9-0 lead with 8.5 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. And Pittsburgh will take over from there. And they try to run the ball, and Watt coming up big, seeming to be a little bit angry after he was put on the trading block too. Brings us to a 2nd and 12. Our defense is playing out of their shoes this afternoon, stepping up majorly. All the other teams have been able to run the ball right down our throats. And y'all did see before, this is still on all Madden difficulty, so I didn't lower anything. We're just playing a lot better. The more time you play with a team, the better of a feel you get for them. And so the more we can actually do and adjust. And I'm really starting to get a good feel for the defensive line rush moves. That's becoming a big thing. Understanding how those actually work, what the little dots under the offensive linemen are actually meaning. And that's really helping out with kind of getting some pressure that we weren't really getting before. And Rothlesburger will drop it off to Connor on a 3rd and 9, who gets a big first down. And we catch up with Pittsburgh a little bit later on in the drive with the 1st and 10 from the red zone at the 18-yard line. And Connor with a big run as he gets hammered into the dirt, bringing up a 2nd and 2 from the 11. And they are trying to cut into this lead, and we are going to have to stop them. We're going to end up bringing some pressure off the left side. And it gets all picked up, and he drops off the little pass to his receiver in the slot. And he gets hit hard down at the 2-yard line, bringing them to a 1st and goal. And we are needing to stop this touchdown. We need a big play from someone. So on 1st and goal, here comes Watt. I dive and I miss, but I still have enough time to get up and get him again. And J.J. Watt with the tackle again. And thank you, Madden, for that one. Watt got his 5th sack on the season. We're only in game number 3. And that will push them back to the 17-yard line and a goal to go. 9-0 lead, needing another big play. And Rothlesburger drops back and hits his tight end, and we are going to be able to tackle him immediately, bringing him down to the 9-yard line, making this a 3rd and goal with just over 3 minutes to go in this first half. And they line up 3 wide, the tight end and a running back. And they snap, and we try to bring pressure on them. But what a great play by Conley and our defensive back. He makes the interception in the end zone, and he's going to start running it out and gets tackled at the 16-yard line, shutting down that offensive drive. That's, once again, another type of the big play that we need to see more this season if we're going to have success. And we will take over the ball on a 1st and 10, just over 3 minutes to go. And we do a little quick handoff to Stills, who's going to take it just for about 4 yards down the right side, getting us past to the 21, just a little bit more space that we were needing. Now, as the clock is ticking down just over 2.5 minutes, we are going to have to play this smart. Before, once again, like I said, we made dumb mistakes on things, but now we're going to have to continue to be smart. And we will run outside with Watson and slide down for the 1st down. And I think that's one of the bigger things that we've done as we catch up a little bit later in the drive on a 1st and 10 from the 20, is we've been able to be a lot more mobile with Watson this game. I was hesitant the first couple games, but this one we've been able to get him out of the pocket and get him down the field, pick up some rushing yards for us, and that's opened up a lot. And we do dump it off on the screen pass. That gives us a 2nd and 4. We did stop the clock with only 37 seconds to go. And we are going to take the snap out of the shotgun, knowing we still have 2 timeouts. And we toss it to the end zone anyways, and our tight end, he catches it. Akins drives it home for the touchdown. And that is how the first half will end, with a 16-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. No one saw this coming. This is an upset in the making. 160 passing to their 90, 105 rushing to their 24. And we also got the turnovers at the big moments as well. So now taking a look at things going around the nation here at halftime. The Titans and the Vikings, both teams at 1-1, are also tied at 21. Tannehill has 3 touchdowns on the day to Kirk Cousins 2. And we check in on the Bengals at the Eagles. The Bengals are leading 21-7. Burrow with a touchdown and 128 yards, having a pretty big day for himself. And we go down to Florida with one of our division rivals, Jacksonville, as they are tied with the Dolphins at 17 apiece. Minshew has 2 touchdowns and an interception on the day, as Fitzpatrick for the Dolphins has 1. And this will bring us to the start of the second half. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ahead 16-0, needing to hold off the rush. I think everybody, if you saw the Black Knight series, you've seen me give up 28 points in a matter of about 9 minutes. So a 16-0 lead is definitely not safe. And so the Steelers are driving. I told you we have got to be careful, and they are moving the ball. They are starting to get the ball in the hands of Juju, and he is doing what he does best and making plays. And so Steelers will take over on a 1st and 10. Well, not take over, they will continue. And we hammer their tight end down to the ground harshly. They're going to be bringing him over the middle. We're just going to be laying out the lumber for him, as that'll bring up a 2nd and 2. Rothlesburger from the shotgun. And he will take the snap and get the quick pass off to his other receiver. These quick passes are killer when you're running man. Now we catch up with them a little bit later in the drive from the 11-yard line with a 1st and 10. They send their running back out in motion. And Rothlesburger takes the snap and they dump it to the tight end, and I completely whiff. That one is all on me. They will score the touchdown. They will get the 2-point conversion. They will cut our lead in half as we now only have a 16-8 advantage. And on the ensuing drive, we get the pass off to Stills, who's coming up big for us once again. You know, he kind of had a little, I wouldn't say a letdown last game, but it was definitely minor in production. So a little later in the drive, on a 2nd and 10 from the 18 for Pittsburgh, we bring Fuller across the formation. He catches it, and he's going to run it into the end zone for a touchdown, extending our lead again to 15 points, bringing the score to 23-8 with 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. We are playing like we've never played before. Granted, we've only played 2 games before, but still, this is monumental for us. And Pittsburgh is starting to mix it up a lot, kind of getting myself confused here on which ones I need to call changes on. And they dump it off over the middle, and we are going to get them stopped after they pick up a pretty decent 1st down. A little bit later in the drive for Pittsburgh, they have a 3rd and 14 from the 27. The 3rd quarter quickly coming to an end. And they dump off the screen pass, and we get him stopped. That is going to end the 3rd quarter, bringing up a 4th and 9, in which they will end up having to kick a field goal. And now they're confused on the sideline as to how they are still losing to the Texans, who have given up 100 points in 2 games. And after we take over possession at the 25, we will hand the ball off knowing we need to get the clock going, but we can't lay off the gas. That is just something we cannot do. We have to score on just about every possession. And so from a 2nd and 8 here from the 25-yard line, we get the pass off to Fuller, who's going to get around the edge and get us a 1st down on a big play all the way down to the 40. He's got 4 receptions for 66 yards. A little bit later in the drive on a 3rd and 6, we get the pass off to Stills, but he's unable to come down with it. There was decent coverage, and that is going to lead to us having to kick another 50-plus yard field goal in the game, and we are going to drive this one home again, giving us a 26-11 lead. And so Pittsburgh will take over after that field goal at the 25-yard line. And the first play, they throw it, and we pick it off. And McKinney's going to run it in for the touchdown, the pick 6. What a great defensive stand, defensive play. Bernardrick McKinney, I think is his name. What an outstanding catch and run back for the touchdown, extending our lead to 33-11. Could not ask for anything better than that. But there is still 11 minutes to go, and this game is not over. And after a minor glitch in the recording, we catch up with Pittsburgh as they are down to the 25-yard line on a long drive. As you can see, 3 minutes have already worn off, bringing us down to about 8.5 to go. And on that play, that gets Pittsburgh down to the 17 with a 2nd and 3. We're going to be looking to bring up some more of this pressure coming from our defensive line. We're just not able to get quite past them fast enough. And they get the little pass off to Juju. But that is going to give them a 1st down, which is what we kind of needed to avoid them doing. So now they have a 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. A little high snap, and they hand it off to Connor. I say high snap. They just ran a draw play is all. And Connor will take it down to the 5. But big news, Pouncey, their all-pro center, Hall of Famer, gets injured and is out for the rest of the game. And we are going to have to do everything we can to take advantage of that maneuver. So that brings us up to a 2nd and 4 from the 5-yard line. And they hand it off, and they get down to the 1. That will bring them with a 1st and goal, but they have another injury happen to them. And we are having some recording problems. That happens every now and then. But it's okay because we still catch up at the 1st and goal. It's again 33-11 lead. 1st and goal from the 1. And they hand it off and they just, I wouldn't say walk in. We did at least hit him as he fell into the end zone. And that will make the lead now 33. And yes, they get the 2-point conversion, so 33-19, giving us a 14-point game. On the ensuing kickoff, we look like idiots and fumble it again. That's going to be his last time returning a kick. That's the 2nd fumble in 2 weeks on a kickoff. I can't have that thing. I can't have that happen again. I guess I'll probably end up Randall Cobb back there, maybe let Kiki QT also return the kickoffs. But big changes are coming in that area. And so with just over 7 minutes, we know we're trying to get the clock down. That's our main goal at this point. So we run the ball, get stuffed. That run looked a little goofy, but that's okay. His purpose kind of got covered for us. 2nd and 11. Now there's just about 6.5 minutes to go. And Watson takes the snap, and we bravely throw it to Thompson, our tight end, who makes his first catch of the season. Thomas, and in fact, that may be his first catch of the career. We end up getting it for him, and he picks up a big 1st down all the way to the 31-yard line as we are moving. And now on the next 1st and 10, we hit Stills on the slant pattern again. Picks up major yardage all the way down to the 49-yard line. Stills is having a great game, career game, some would say. And we catch up with the Texans later in the drive on a 2nd and 13 with just about 3.5 minutes to go as we get it run down for a gain of 4 yards, bringing up a 3rd and 9 from the 10. Like I said, 3.5 to go. We've been able to work the clock all the way down. So no stupid mistakes. That's my biggest thing. I tend to make a lot of stupid mistakes in clutch time. I need to. This is the type of moments that can define me in this season. Stupid mistakes or not. And so I decided to run it, and I give it a throw because I didn't think Fuller would allow, or I didn't think their cornerback would get around for the interception. It does fall incomplete. We do kick the field goal, so we do have the lead, 36-19. So a 17-point lead. Steelers have just under 3 minutes to go. And their first play goes big. He gets a great pass off, quick slant on the open. And they now have the ball at the 46-yard line with a 1st and 10. And so now the 1st and 10, they take it from the shotgun. We're looking at trying to manage having coverage plus getting the pressure. We've been doing it decent enough getting pressure with just our defensive line. We've gotten, I think, 5 sacks from them today. And almost get another one on that play. J.J. Watt looking like the beast he is, getting around real quick. And that little dump-off pass will take us to the 2-minute warning. And that would give them a 2nd and 4. All right. So the 2nd and 4, 2 minutes to go. 17-point lead for us here in the Houston Texans. And they get a big pass off, and we hammer Schuster down hard. And after that 1st down, we catch up with the Steelers a little bit later on in the drive. With just over a minute to go, they are now down to the 8-yard line with a 2nd and 7. We are needing a big stop, but I'm not too worried at this point, even if they get a touchdown, just because of the amount of time that's on the clock. I feel time is definitely on our side. And so Rothlesburger will take the snap on a 2nd and 7. We bring the pressure, but he rolls out and dumps it off to their tight end, who will get in the end zone for the touchdown, bringing the score now 26-36. So here comes the onside kick. Fuller scoops it up one-handed and is brought down, and that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. We will pick up the first win of our season. A 36-26 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are looking mighty ashamed of themselves at this moment, and that's just quite all right by me. We brought tons of pressure, got to Rothlesburger. We were able to make big plays, got the 2 turnovers, 337 passing yards, and 149 rushing yards. Could not ask for any of a better performance from our team than what we got this afternoon. What a day, what a game.
What a great game that was today. We pull off our first win of the season. Mr. Gary Owen Conley got himself an interception and a development point. So we are going to increase his man-to-man skills today. So let's go ahead and get him up. He's now a 77 overall. That increases man coverage and press. That's exactly what we're needing out of our defensive backs, and he's working his way on up to being that, to getting to be our second cornerback in the 80s. So a couple more games like that, he'll be right there with them. Mr. Ross Blaylock did a good job up the middle with stopping the run, and oddly enough, that's what we're going to increase for him, his run stopper. Alright, so we got block shedding, play recognition, plus speed, plus 1 tackle. He's a 74 overall. Now, the middle linebacker, Dylan Cole. I don't remember him playing, but more power to him. You know, field general is obviously fits the scheme, but out of our middle linebackers, we need a lot of help over the middle, especially whenever we do end up playing zone. So I'm going to increase his pass coverage one more, making him a 72 overall, increasing his awareness, his man coverage, and his zone coverage by 2. That's exactly what we needed. Isaiah Coulter, just increase his deep threat. What the hell? He didn't even play, so I guess that's just a practice point. I am going to make a move, but don't worry, it's not going to be something that's done on screen. That you'll notice we fumbled our second week in a row. We had a fumbled kickoff, and that one really did hurt us. Now we were able to recover nicely this week, but overall that one hurt us pretty big, and so we're definitely going to be making a change there. All right. So here's what we're going to go ahead and do. Is I'm going to get us to the 2 new injuries. Let's check that out. Issue for dislocated elbow, and one of our 2 defensive tackles, Vander does. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Torn labrum. He's going to be out for 5 weeks. Okay. So obviously I am going to have to get someone out of free agency, a defensive tackle, because I need some depth there. And we'll take a look at the linebacker spot in our defensive ends here off screen. So we are going to move on to the next game, which we will be playing the Minnesota Vikings at home for the first time since our humiliating loss to Baltimore in week 2, but we did recover with the win. And let me know in the comments what y'all think about really right now just about Fuller and Stills. We'll check to see what kind of offers we got from them. Conley and Cunningham are next up on the board for renegotiation. And we do have trade offers for Fuller and for J.J. Watt, so we'll check that out in the next episode. Not going to do that one right now, so we're going to keep it a surprise for everybody. So let me know. What about Stills versus Fuller? Who do you think we should keep? Because I'm not re-signing one of them. Let me know what y'all think. Also, what is a good value for J.J. Watt as well as Will Fuller? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next episode as we take on the Minnesota Vikings. So as always, stay safe, everybody, and later, y'all.